So I just wore the black glasses because I figured like every single thumbnail would be someone wearing black glasses because it's the Matrix. I mean, really, like, Matrix pulled off, you know, sci-fi masterpiece action, and also made a lot of people wear black glasses. The Matrix Resurrection stars Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss, and is about a return to a world of two realities. One, everyday life, the other, what lies behind it. To find out his reality is a construct to truly know himself, Mr. Anderson will have to choose to follow the White Rabbit once more. So my background on the Matrix franchise is a little wonky. Listen, the first one is a masterpiece in sci-fi action and is a great movie with a great storyline. Everyone talks about the action scenes, how great they are, which they are. No one ever talked about how good the story is and how original it is. It is a movie of its time period. And then the sequels, Reloaded, which has like probably a great chase scene, and that's really everyone talks about. The third one, I haven't seen in over 10 years, honestly. I have not watched a movie in a very long time. So going in this movie, I really should have refreshed my brain, because if you've not seen the first trilogy, then I do recommend watching this movie, because I know a lot of people are really excited for this movie, so I'm going to try to be non-spoiler, because again, a lot of people are looking forward to this movie, and I'll say this, I think this movie brings ideas to the Matrix world that if a sequel does happen, I would really want to see the story explore more, because the movie presents itself as not really a reboot, even though it's very meta on itself, saying we're not trying to reboot it, we're trying to do a sequel, because the movie is taking place after that original trilogy. We do get to see Keanu Reeves as Neo again. I'm not going to explain, like, after the events of the third one, how is he alive, but with this movie that presents Keanu Reeves, he's awesome. He's really good as Neo. I mean, there's no question about it. Is this the role of his life? I could argue John Wick, but with this movie, it's great to see him, such as Carrie-Anne Moss. Both of them returning are the highlights of this movie, because both of them really are like the originals that we love to death, and they're both kick ass in this movie. Now, the director of this movie is only one of the Wachowski siblings, and she did a really good job with this movie, honestly. I think the action scenes are really fun. Now, a lot of people are going to go in this movie presenting like, I want some glorious action scenes, which I'll give it this. The action scenes aren't like mind-boggling, oh my goodness, a lot of CGI if you ask me, but there's some really nice fight scenes, shootout scenes, some nice blood effects, all that kind of stuff. But the first movie was such a revolutionary like achievement in action scenes with slow-mo and all that kind of stuff, that in this movie, I don't go in expecting I want something that's gonna blow me away. I expected a fun time, and all these action scenes were really well done, honestly. I enjoyed all of them, especially all the fighting sequences. I really enjoyed them, because presenting this world as like, it's a very convoluted world, the Matrix and what the real world is and what Neo is trying to do and how everything is connected to this universe. That's where it gets into spoilers, and I don't want to spoil this movie. Like I said, a lot of people are looking forward to it, but I will say this, there's good concepts, and then there's stuff that I hate. Now, if you don't want to know nothing about this movie, I would go ahead and just end this review right now, because I have to talk about one little plot detail that wasn't really presented in the trailers well enough to say this is not a spoiler or not, so just go and say this, it's a very minor plot point. Neo is in the Matrix, and guess what? He's a game designer of the Matrix trilogy, and they use the Matrix trilogy, the movies that we know, as video games, and they show footage of the movie, and it keeps showing it throughout the entire movie with certain characters who are presented as the same character but different actors. Won't spoil that for you, but I didn't like that at all. Literally, this movie is almost completely relying on that original trilogy, especially the first one. Overall, though, I will say the movie is enjoyable to watch. I was really happy to see this universe return back to the big screen. I think this movie presents itself in a way where if we do get a sequel, I want to see these characters return. I want to see everything that happened in this movie continue. There are some awesome new characters. I didn't even talk about the Bugs character. She's great. She is awesome. She was supposed to be in Shang-Chi. She's awesome in this movie. I hope to God, I want to see more of her. I want everything with her to be explored more if they do future movies or anything they plan to do. But this movie presents itself in a way where I think there's a lot of good and a lot of bad and a lot of just enjoyment. I will give The Matrix Resurrections a C+. It's out on HBO Max today, or you can go into theaters and watch it, and I would honestly recommend watching it in theaters. It's a good movie worth to go watch in theaters, but if you want to stay at home and watch on HBO Max, I don't blame you. My dad did that, and he couldn't make it through it, so he turned it off. Anyway, guys, enjoy this review, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye, everyone.